starting your live streams the wrong way, because there is a right and wrong way if your intention is to retain your audience and to grow during the replay of your content. So let's talk about 3 things you should never be doing when you are live streaming if you want to have an audience stay on your video and continue to watch it. The first is that you should never ever be waiting for viewers to show up. The people who stop and say, well, I'm just waiting for people to show up, we're just going to hang on for a couple of minutes, we're just waiting for people, that is a deterrent for people who are going to be watching your replay, because the vast majority of your views on a live stream is coming from the replay. Unless you're doing just a hangout session on one of the smaller social platforms that's not a search engine like YouTube, you do not want to be waiting around for people, and you don't want to be wasting people's time. So if people are scrolling through social media and they're seeing you say, well, we're just going to wait, you're telling them that they are not valuable to you, that their time means nothing. And we don't want to do that. We don't want people to have the option of scrolling away because they're not valuing your time, or you're not valuing their time. They are going to leave. They're not going to stick around for that. So you want to make sure you jump in right away. And you want to make sure that you have a specific hook, because like I said, when it comes to live streaming, you are going to have people who show up right away. You're going to have people that show up a few minutes later, but the majority of your people are going to be showing up on the replay. So you need to make sure you have something that hooks them in. So if they happen to see it right when you go live, that's a really great hook. If they see it on the replay, they know you're not wasting their time. We're not doing 5 or 10 minutes of waiting for people to show up. So having a strategic hook is going to be really, really important. And you want to make sure you're not fumbling that opening line. You got to make sure that you have something that's going to get their attention. So one of the best pieces of advice that I can give you if you're live streaming is to script your first line. Even if you're showing up and you're having conversations like this, where the rest of it isn't scripted, maybe you've got some bullet points and some talking points that you want to address, but you're just having those conversations with people, you want to make sure that you have a scripted first line, because that makes or breaks your success. You get 3 seconds to get someone to stop their scroll and actually watch you, a little bit longer on a live stream. But if you don't have a really highly crafted strategic first line, you could be fumbling keeping those people on your live stream. So your first line, write it down. You can do one of 2 things. You can either write it down and memorize it and then deliver it, or if you're using a program like BeLive, like I'm using right now to stream, you can actually put that in the notes section and just read it. People are not going to know that you're reading it off of the screen. Every once in a while, if I have something very specific I need to say, I'll put it in the notes section, but not put it on like I do have right here with the overlays. I just read it as I need to make sure I get somebody's name or somebody's title right, or a talking point that I really want to make sure is strongly communicated. I'll write something down so that I can see it and read it while I am on air. But because I'm looking at the camera and it's right next to the camera, people aren't going to notice that I'm looking away. And in normal conversation, you kind of move your eyes around a little bit. So as long as I'm not like looking down to read a paper, people aren't going to know that I'm reading a line that I have taken a note on. So it's really important to make sure you have a strategic opening line to get people's attention. In the beginning of this video, I said, are you starting your live streams the wrong way? Ooh, that's a really good hook, because it makes people wonder, am I doing this wrong? Is there a right and a wrong way? It gets people's attention. I could have jumped on and said, let's talk about live streaming and how you can get more people to show up to your live streams, and that's not nearly as engaging. So having a scripted first line is really, really helpful. You also want to make sure you never go live without a plan. You always want to make sure you have a very strategic direction to what you're going to be saying. Bullet points to talk about. We want to make sure you have a point, whether it's bringing a question that you're going to be answering or you want to have some kind of discussion. Have that very clear plan and direction, because even if nobody shows up, you're going to have the ability to have that conversation in the replay. And here's the thing. Nobody knows if people are not showing up to your live stream. The 4 people that show up to your live stream are going to know that there were 4 people in your live stream, but during the replay, that's not going to be a thing.